Have you ever looked at the woman you love and wondered, is there something she wants from me that she has never actually said out loud? Maybe you've been together for years. Maybe you know her habits, her favorite foods, the way she reacts when she's stressed, the things that make her laugh, and even the little expressions she makes when something is bothering her. Yet when it comes to intimacy, there may still be an entire part of her inner world that you haven't discovered. And here's the interesting part. Sometimes she hasn't hidden those thoughts because she doesn't trust you. Sometimes she simply doesn't know how to say them. She may be worried that you'll judge her. She may worry that you'll misunderstand what she's saying. She may fear that you'll think she's asking for something strange, unrealistic, or uncomfortable. Or perhaps she simply grew up believing that women aren't supposed to talk openly about these things. So instead of asking, she stays quiet. She gives subtle hints. She waits to see how you respond, and sometimes she simply keeps those thoughts to herself. Today, we're going to talk about 6 things some women may secretly be curious about in intimacy but feel too shy to ask for directly. Now, before we begin, understand something important. There is no universal list of what women want. Every woman is different. Every relationship is different. And absolutely nothing should ever be assumed or pressured. These 6 points are not instructions. They are conversation starters. They're designed to help you understand the psychology behind curiosity, emotional safety, attraction, communication, and long-term intimacy. Because if you really want to understand your partner, the goal isn't to become better at guessing what she wants. The goal is to create a relationship where she feels safe enough to tell you. Let's start with number 1, because it may be much more common than most men realize. Some women secretly want more spontaneity. Think about what happens in many long-term relationships. In the beginning, everything feels new. You don't know exactly what the other person is going to say. You don't know how the evening will end. You don't know what new memory you're going to create together. That uncertainty can create excitement. But after years together, life becomes organized. You wake up at the same time, you go to work, you come home, you eat dinner, you deal with responsibilities, you watch something, you go to sleep. And intimacy can slowly become organized in exactly the same way. There's nothing inherently wrong with routine. In fact, routine can create comfort. But when every romantic moment becomes predictable, a relationship can sometimes lose that sense of discovery. A woman may secretly want something different, but she may not know how to say it. She may worry that asking for change sounds like criticism. She might think, if I tell him I want something different, will he think I'm unhappy with him? That's a very different question from simply wanting novelty. She may be perfectly happy with you and still want to experience something new together. This is why one of the most powerful questions you can ask your partner isn't, "What do you want me to do?" It's, "Is there anything you've ever been curious about that you've never felt comfortable talking about?" Notice how different that sounds. You're not demanding a specific answer. You're creating space for honesty. And if she doesn't have an answer, that's perfectly fine. Don't pressure her. The point isn't to extract a secret. The point is to communicate that curiosity itself isn't something she needs to be embarrassed about. Spontaneity can also be much simpler than people imagine. It doesn't necessarily mean doing something dramatic. It could mean planning an unexpected date. It could mean changing the environment. It could mean putting the phones away and creating a private evening together. It could mean sending a playful message during the day. It could mean surprising your partner with affection when she isn't expecting it. Sometimes the brain doesn't need something extreme. It simply needs something different from the normal pattern. And that's an important psychological lesson. Novelty doesn't have to mean intensity. Sometimes, novelty simply means breaking the script. But there's another reason women may hesitate to ask for spontaneity. They may be afraid that their partner will interpret it as a demand for more excitement because something is wrong. That's why reassurance matters. You can tell your partner, "I love what we already have. I just want us to keep discovering each other." That sentence changes everything. It tells her that you're not trying to fix a broken relationship. You're trying to keep a good relationship alive. Now let's move to number 2, because this one goes much deeper. Some women may secretly want more control over the pace and direction of intimacy. And this is where traditional expectations can create confusion. Many men grow up believing that being confident means taking charge. Confidence can certainly be attractive, but there's a difference between confidently initiating and assuming you know exactly what another person wants. Healthy intimacy is not a performance where one person leads and the other simply follows. It's a shared experience. A woman may want to communicate more clearly about what she likes, what she doesn't like, what pace feels comfortable, or when she wants to slow things down. But she may hesitate because she doesn't want to hurt her partner's feelings. She may think, if I tell him to change something, he'll think he's doing a bad job. So instead of speaking, she remains quiet. And the man may interpret that silence as satisfaction. Now both people are operating on assumptions. This is why giving your partner permission to communicate is so important. You can say, if there's ever anything you'd like differently, just tell me. And then you have to mean it, because if you say that but become defensive the moment she gives feedback, you've taught her that honesty isn't actually safe. Think about how powerful that is psychologically. Imagine telling someone, you can be honest with me, and then when they finally become honest, you punish them emotionally for it. After that, they're unlikely to open up again. But if you listen calmly, thank them for telling you, and treat their preferences as information rather than criticism, you create trust. And here's something many couples don't understand. Communication doesn't reduce attraction. For many people, it can increase it. When two people know they can communicate freely, they don't have to spend as much energy worrying about whether the other person is comfortable. That allows both partners to be more present. Instead of thinking, does she like this? You can actually listen to her words and pay attention to her comfort. This is also why consent should never be treated as a mood killer. Respecting boundaries is not the opposite of passion. It's part of healthy passion. A person should always be able to say no, pause, slow down, or change their mind without fear. And when someone knows their no will be respected, their yes carries much more meaning. Now number 3 is something many men underestimate: verbal affection. Some women may secretly want more words during intimate or romantic moments, but they may feel embarrassed asking for them. They may want to hear that they're attractive. They may want reassurance. They may want to know that their partner is emotionally present. They may want to hear something as simple as, I love being close to you. Why does this matter? Because intimacy isn't purely physical. For many people, the emotional interpretation of an experience can be just as important as the physical experience itself. A woman may be thinking, does he still find me attractive? Does he still want me? Does he appreciate me? Is he emotionally connected to me? Those questions can exist even inside a loving relationship. And sometimes the problem is that men assume their partner already knows the answers. Of course I love you. We've been married for 15 years. Of course I find you attractive. Why would I be with you if I didn't? Logically, that makes sense. Emotionally, it misses something. People don't stop needing reassurance simply because time has passed. Think about other areas of life. If someone told you they loved your work 10 years ago, would you assume they still appreciate everything you do today? Maybe. But hearing appreciation again still feels good. Relationships work the same way. A simple compliment can be powerful when it's sincere. You look beautiful tonight. I love your smile. I still get excited when I see you. I love the way you make me feel. These aren't complicated statements, but they communicate attention. They tell your partner that you still notice her. And there's an important distinction here. Compliments shouldn't reduce a woman to her body. A mature compliment can combine attraction with appreciation. Tell her that you love her confidence. Tell her you admire the way she handles difficult situations. Tell her she makes your life better. And yes, tell her when you find her beautiful. When those things are combined, attraction becomes part of a larger emotional connection rather than the entire relationship. Now let's talk about number 4, adventure within boundaries. This is where many people misunderstand the idea of experimentation. They hear the word adventure and imagine something extreme. But healthy adventure can be incredibly simple. It can mean creating an experience that feels different from your usual routine while still respecting both people's comfort levels. For example, a couple might decide to spend an evening somewhere different, plan a private date without distractions, try a new romantic routine, or simply make a conscious decision to be more playful with each other. The goal isn't to push boundaries. The goal is to explore what both people genuinely enjoy. And here's a rule worth remembering. Curiosity is not consent. If your partner says, I've always wondered what that would be like, that doesn't automatically mean, I want to do it. She may simply be sharing a thought. Your response should be curiosity, not pressure. You can say, what about that idea interests you? Maybe she wants novelty. Maybe she wants emotional closeness. Maybe she wants to feel adventurous with you. Maybe she isn't actually interested in trying it at all. She simply wondered about it. That's why mature communication is so different from persuasion. Persuasion tries to move someone toward your preferred answer. Communication tries to understand their answer. If your partner says no, don't negotiate. If she says maybe, don't interpret that as yes. If she says she needs time, give her time. And if she says yes, make sure the decision is mutual and comfortable. These simple principles create an environment where both people can explore without fear. Now let's get to number 5, because this is one of the deepest desires in long-term relationships. Some women want to feel genuinely desired again. Being loved and being desired are not exactly the same thing. Love can be stable. Love can be quiet. Love can be expressed through loyalty, responsibility, and being there when life becomes difficult. Desire often feels different. Desire communicates attention. It says, I still notice you. I still find you attractive. I still choose you. And this can become especially important as relationships become comfortable. Couples can become excellent teammates. They manage finances. They solve problems. They take care of family responsibilities. They remember appointments. They organize vacations. They become experts at running a household. But somewhere in the process, romance can become secondary. A woman may secretly miss being looked at the way she was looked at early in the relationship. She may miss spontaneous compliments. She may miss flirting. She may miss feeling like her partner isn't simply accustomed to her presence, but genuinely excited by her. The interesting thing is that she may never say this directly. She may not want to sound needy. She may think, if he doesn't naturally notice me anymore, asking him to notice me won't feel genuine. So instead, she waits. This is why small behaviors can matter so much. Look at her when she walks into the room. Give her your attention when she speaks. Touch her affectionately without expecting anything in return. Tell her when she looks beautiful. Send a message during the day simply because you're thinking about her. Plan something instead of always asking, what do you want to do? And here's an important point for men. Affection should not always become a transaction. If every hug, kiss, compliment, or touch eventually becomes an attempt to initiate intimacy, your partner may begin to feel that affection always comes with an expectation. Sometimes give affection simply because you want her to feel loved. That creates emotional safety. And emotional safety often makes romantic connection stronger, not weaker. Now we arrive at number 6, and this may actually be the most important one of all. Some women secretly want permission to be completely honest, not permission because they're incapable of making their own decisions. Emotional permission means feeling that you can talk about vulnerable subjects without being mocked, criticized, compared, or rejected. Imagine having a thought you've never told your partner. You consider bringing it up. Then you imagine their reaction. What will he think of me? Will he judge me? Will he think I'm asking for too much? Will he tell his friends? Will this change how he sees me? Those fears can stop a conversation before it begins. And sometimes, women don't need their partner to immediately agree with everything they say. They simply want to know that they can speak honestly. That's a huge distinction. You can disagree with a preference and still respect the person who shared it. You can say, I'm not comfortable with that, without saying, there's something wrong with you. You can say, that's not for me, without shaming your partner. And if you're a man who wants your partner to open up more, here's one of the best things you can do. Become predictable in your respect. If she tells you something vulnerable and you laugh, criticize, become angry, or bring it up later during an argument, you've taught her that vulnerability is dangerous. But if she tells you something and you calmly say, thank you for trusting me enough to tell me, you create an entirely different experience. You don't have to agree. You don't have to do anything. You simply have to respect the fact that she trusted you. That is intimacy. Now let's pause for a moment and connect all 6 points because there is a pattern here. Spontaneity is about discovery. Having more control is about being heard. Verbal affection is about reassurance. Adventure is about shared curiosity. Feeling desired is about attraction and attention. And emotional honesty is about trust. Notice what all 6 have in common. None of them requires you to become someone you're not. None of them requires a complicated technique. None of them requires copying what you see online. They require communication. And this is where many couples make their biggest mistake. They focus so heavily on the physical side of intimacy that they forget what happens emotionally before and after it. A woman who feels ignored throughout the day may not suddenly feel emotionally connected simply because the lights are turned off at night. A man who feels constantly criticized may struggle to feel relaxed and affectionate. A couple who never talks about problems may carry those problems into their private life. Intimacy doesn't exist in isolation. It's influenced by the entire relationship. The way you speak to each other matters. The way you handle disagreements matters. The way you apologize matters. The way you show appreciation matters. The way you respond when your partner says no matters. And the way you behave when nobody is watching matters. This is also why trying to decode women can become a trap. You don't need to become a mind reader. You need to become a better listener. Instead of asking, "What does this gesture secretly mean?" ask, "How can I make it easier for my partner to tell me what she actually means?" That's a much healthier approach. And if you're watching this because you want to improve your own relationship, here's a simple conversation you can have. Choose a calm moment, not during an argument, and not when either of you is distracted. Sit together and ask 3 questions. What makes you feel most loved by me? What makes you feel most desired by me? And is there anything you've wanted to talk about but felt nervous bringing up? Then do something that most people struggle with. Listen. Don't interrupt. Don't defend yourself. Don't immediately explain. Don't turn her answer into an argument. Let her finish. You might hear something that surprises you. Maybe she wants more affection. Maybe she wants more time together. Maybe she wants you to initiate dates. Maybe she wants more compliments. Maybe she wants you to listen when she talks instead of immediately solving her problems. Maybe she has a preference you've never heard before. Whatever it is, remember that sharing it took courage. And if you're a woman watching this, you deserve the same freedom. You don't have to communicate your preferences perfectly. You can say, "I'm nervous talking about this." You can say, "I'm curious, but I'm not sure." You can say, "I don't want to do that." You can change your mind. You can ask questions. You can take your time. Healthy intimacy isn't about pleasing someone at your own expense. It's about 2 people feeling safe enough to be honest. And if you're in a relationship that has been together for many years, don't assume that you already know everything about each other. People change. Their confidence changes. Their priorities change. Their bodies change. Their stress changes. Their needs can change. And sometimes the person you think you know completely has an entire new chapter of thoughts and feelings that they haven't found the words to explain yet. That's why curiosity is so important in long-term relationships. Ask questions you've never asked before. Go on dates you've never gone on before. Talk about dreams you haven't discussed. Talk about what makes each of you feel appreciated. And every once in a while, ask the simplest question of all. What would make you feel closer to me right now? The answer may have nothing to do with intimacy. Maybe she wants help. Maybe she wants rest. Maybe she wants a conversation. Maybe she wants affection with no expectation attached. Maybe she wants to laugh with you. Maybe she wants to feel like you're still a team. And sometimes those seemingly small things are exactly what rebuild the emotional connection that makes intimacy feel natural again. There's another important lesson here for men over the age of 40, 50, or beyond. Don't assume that getting older means romance has to become less important. Life may change with age, but the desire to feel loved, appreciated, attractive, and connected doesn't automatically disappear. In fact, as people get older, emotional intimacy can become even more meaningful because relationships are no longer simply about excitement. They're about companionship, trust, history, and choosing each other repeatedly. A mature relationship doesn't need to imitate the beginning of the relationship. It can become something deeper. The early stage may have been about discovering who you are. The later stage can be about discovering who you are becoming together. That's a beautiful thing. So, if you remember nothing else from today's video, remember this. Don't try to guess your partner's secret desires. Create a relationship where she doesn't have to keep them secret. Don't pressure her to reveal everything. Make honesty feel safe. Don't assume silence means agreement. Ask. Don't treat boundaries as rejection. Respect them. Don't turn affection into a transaction. Give affection freely. And don't stop dating the person simply because you've been married to them for years. Because sometimes the biggest change in intimacy doesn't come from learning something new in the bedroom. It comes from learning something new about the person lying beside you. Maybe she has a thought she's never shared. Maybe you've been afraid to share one too. Maybe both of you have been waiting for the other person to start the conversation. So perhaps the most powerful thing you can do tonight isn't to try something new. It's to ask a new question. Sit down together, look at each other, and say, "Is there anything you've ever wanted to tell me but felt too shy to say?" Then listen. That one question can open a conversation that changes your relationship far more than any secret technique ever could. And let's quickly recap the 6 ideas, one final time. Number 1. Some women may want more spontaneity and novelty because predictability can sometimes reduce the feeling of discovery. Number 2. Some may want more ability to communicate and guide the pace because being heard can make intimacy feel safer and more connected. Number 3. Some may want more verbal affection because hearing that they are loved, appreciated, and desired can strengthen emotional connection. Number 4. Some may want more adventure, but only within boundaries that both partners genuinely agree on. Number 5. Some may want to feel desired again, not simply loved out of habit, but genuinely noticed and appreciated. And number 6. Many people, regardless of gender, want the emotional freedom to speak honestly, without fear of judgment. These aren't universal truths about every woman, they're possibilities. And the person who can tell you what she actually wants is not a YouTube video. It's her. Your job isn't to guess her secret. Your job is to make it safe for her to tell you. If this video gave you a new perspective on relationships, attraction, female psychology, and emotional intimacy, share your thoughts in the comments. Which of these 6 do you think couples overlook the most? Communication, spontaneity, affection, adventure, feeling desired, or emotional honesty? And if you want more mature, psychology-based videos about relationships, attraction, intimacy, and the things couples often struggle to talk about, subscribe to the channel. Because sometimes the strongest relationship isn't the one where 2 people know every secret about each other. It's the one where neither person is afraid to tell the truth.